Bean Soup Times is on a mission to create dope content that entertains, educates, and empowers the Black community.
Brothers and sisters, always, man, incredible people we have on the Black Business Matters show, produced by Bean Soup Times. We have an entrepreneur extraordinaire. I've met him in the battlefield, in the trenches, man. When he has incredible clients, always doing amazing stuff in a very unique way. But one that makes so much sense working through the barbershops and beauty salons. We have Wil Shelton of Willpower Entertainment. You've been in business, what, 20 plus years?
Yeah.
So, man, like Rodney Perry, the comedian, said to me one time when I was celebrating 10 years in business, he said, 10 years? He said, people don't even stay married that long, man. 20 years in business. Hats off and salute. So, man, how things been going?
Things have been going good. When everything first happened, kind of like everything came to a halt for everybody. So then, I had to say to myself, I need to start to pivot to find some opportunities in the crisis. So that's what I did. And that's what I've been telling small businesses, salons, barbershops to do the same thing. Because there are opportunities in the crisis. Why waste it? You need to.
That's right.
So I just pivoted, and then I started to create some solutions for the companies that I've been working with already.
Before we get into that, tell a little bit about what you were doing, so people can understand this transition and this pivot that you're doing right now.
Okay. What I've been doing is for the past 23 years, I worked with different global brands, entertainment companies like Paramount Pictures, Universal Pictures, TNT, Comedy Central, record labels, and I've been working with them to reach the African-American audience in salons and barbershops because there's a blind spot for that. And a lot of companies don't understand that there's so much cultural capital that exists there. And our buying power is $1.3 trillion per year. So, they really, to get connected with that consumer out of home, the barbershops and salons is the most likely place, but most companies didn't know that. So I would go in, have my teams go into different shops. We have actually over 100,000 shops across the country that we have relationships with. So we would create craft campaigns, and we would go into the salons and we would introduce new TV shows, new albums, new records. Even we worked with a global brand, AT&T. They did a whole big, massive Codes of Culture campaign, and they wanted to connect with the African-American consumer because they felt like they were a little bit behind. So that's what I've been doing for the past 23 years. Oh yeah, he got it right here. Yep. That's proof right there.
Proof right there.
Yeah.
We'll tell that story a little bit later.
Yeah. So that's what we have been doing for the past 23 years before COVID showed up.
Man, that's beautiful, man. And so you see, I have one for full disclosure for our listening audience. This is a full circle interview where I was hired through somebody that he works with, that he hired to do some marketing in the Chicagoland area. And we haven't talked since the pandemic. We haven't talked in maybe 6 to 8 months, but then your PR company, your PR team reached out to me to do an interview. So man, I love it when a plan comes together, like my man Hannibal used to say on the 18.
Exactly.
Yep. So obviously you have, nothing came to like a screeching halt, like it did with hair salons and beauty shops, where it just, man, everything was just, what are people gonna do? So now you're not only giving advice on how people can pivot, but you talked about some of the things that you've been doing to pivot yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what I've been encouraging other small businesses, salons, and barbershops is to find the opportunity in the crisis, because right now it felt like the structure fell apart, even personally and in business. So now is the time where you restructure your business. You start to look at what are the things that I needed to do, and said I never had time to do, but now I have all the time in the world. So let me work on my business development. Let me work on my brand identity. Let me work on repositioning myself or finding a deeper niche. So that's what I've been encouraging clients to, and that's what I did. I had to figure out, how am I going to best be able to help the clients that I've had before, because I worked with the movie industry, television, and the production, all their stuff fell apart as well. So I came up with some solutions for them to that was turnkey ready, so then they can still reach that African American audience. So that's what I did.
Man, excellent, excellent. And so, how's it been working so far? Obviously,
and you know what, Ray, it's been working just great. Actually, I've been more busy now than I was before this even started.
Wow.
Because one of the things that happened is, like, you got to throw out the old playbook. I mean, and adapt to what's going on. So these companies, you know, and the other thing is, COVID happened, and then you had the other pandemic within the pandemic, which was the civil unrest and all the racism things going on, the protests. So that happened on top of it. So then there was another slight pivoting that I had to do within that as well. So going to the companies, letting them know, look, this is what you guys should do, giving them a lot of guidance, a lot of expertise, really relying on my thought leadership and understanding their business and understanding my business and how I can best help them. I came up with a plan of action. And I mean, literally, I've been on phone calls, I've been doing presentations, I've been doing more media conferences like this. So I've just been really, really big. I've been writing articles too, because I have like this content site that I put up a lot of good content that's informational for the clients that I want to attract. So that's kept me busy as well. So I've been writing articles that are relevant to what's going on and relevant to my business.
Man, so talk a little bit about this, because it's obviously it's very serious right now. The climate it's a little different, and like you say, some of this I think was because of the pandemic, but I know in Chicago we see more of an understanding response from corporations and from individuals, right? Who are not Black, right?
Yes.
I'm seeing Black Lives Matters over with a major hospital advertisement, right? You see it on Netflix. You're seeing it everywhere now. Yeah. So talk about how important it is for corporations to acknowledge the problem and then do something to address it.
Well, it's super important at this point, because Black consumers are asking for more. They don't want the banner in the booth. They want a full commitment. They don't need the tape and gauze. That's not going to work. They need a full commitment, a full investment from them. They need diversity from the corporate level, the executive level, the retail level. They need a lot of changes. So we're asking for a lot more than a Band-Aid. We don't want just money thrown at us. So we're not falling for that. So I'm talking to the brands and say, hey, look, if you want to really create the right initiative, you have to invest in the community, and you have to do something that has a measurable impact immediately in the community. So that's my guidance to them. And that's why it's super important, because, you know, they're afraid and they're petrified at the same time, because they don't want to make a mistake and put out the wrong type of campaign or offer the wrong type of solidarity campaign, and then they're in trouble again. So it's important to have people at the table like me to help them, because I'm so closely connected to that community. So that's what I've been talking to them about.
Democrats needed you there so they wouldn't have jumped up and tried to put some kidney cloth on their Who was advising them on that? That wasn't even a Band-Aid. That wasn't even gauze and tape.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That was almost like Saturday Night Live stuff. You know, it was almost, you couldn't even be mad. You just had to just laugh. It was just like something Chris Rock would say, you know?
Right, exactly. Exactly. So in general, going forward, right? What's the future of, because there's something important that happened in the barbershops and beauty salons.
Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream is the only place to go when the ladies crave delicious old-fashioned homemade ice cream. Their vanilla tastes just like Grandma used to make it. With over 35 flavors, all made with the freshest ingredients, Kathy has never had banana pudding ice cream this good. It's homemade ice cream the way you remember, and Sean Michelle's doesn't upset your stomach. Enjoy in-store or take it to go. Sean Michelle's. Fall in love again.
First-time customers, buy one, get one free.
It was not only the beautification and the grooming, but it was the conversation, right? And it was the level of exchange that was happening there.
Yes.
What are we doing going forward? How do we maneuver just for that social interaction that's so important in our community?
Yeah, it's one thing to rearrange the chairs in the salon, but you can't rearrange the experience that you have in the shops. So, you know, at this point, we're, you know, what's going on is they had to reconfigure the shops and reconfigure and make a transition to operate safely and to be able to be profitable at the same time. So they're taking less clients than they were. They're being more safe. They're wearing the mask, but the thing about it is you can't muffle their spirit. You know, their voice may be muffled behind the mask, but their spirit isn't muffled. They had to find ways to do one-on-one video, video stuff with their clients online, where they could help them with hairstyles, and do workshops with other clients. Like a lot of them pivoted too as well, because say for instance, they need to build their skills. So they would work with other stylists that did workshops online, and their clients will come online and they would do one-on-one consulting with them. But in the shops right now, I think I've been talking to clients, to stylists and shop owners all over the country every week. I have a show called The New Normal. And we talk about this stuff, and we help other stylists. Maybe the stylist in Atlanta is doing something that could be significant for the stylist in Chicago or Houston. So we go on live and we may have these discussions and conversations of how we can rebuild, reset, and flourish again. Because I mean, I know they feel like they're on hospice right now, you know, but they're not dead, and they can still come back stronger. And you think about it, that, you know, you got the restrictions now, but, you know, the operating restrictions are there. But I think that they don't have any restrictions on the experience level that they can bring. Mm-hmm. That can't be restricted. So I'll talk to them about that. So they're doing a lot of that as well. I know one shop owner out of Atlanta, she made over $50,000 from product sales with her e-commerce. So they're looking at different streams of revenue now, because you don't want to get caught off guard again. We may have another outbreak where we have to chase that down and close back up again. So you got to be prepared.
Yep, that's right, man. To that point, I did an interview with a nail stylist, and she started producing the whole nail kit, where she would send it to her clients because they couldn't come in.
Yeah.
And she was generating more with that.
Yeah.
Than doing that one-on-one, because that may take 2 hours.
Yeah.
One set of nails, you know. So yeah, they're definitely, and I think like you're saying, for some businesses, this was a moment to figure out that other piece that they've been thinking about. Because most of us are thinking about, okay, I need more than one stream of revenue, right? Yeah. So how do we produce that?
Yeah, one other thing I've been talking to shops about, because everybody talks about the word social distancing, but I've been telling them you have to do social listening now. You have to listen to what, you have to listen to what the customers want. You have to build the customer confidence for them to come back. How do you do that? You social listen. You send out surveys to them before you even reopen to say, what would you guys like to see? What would make you more comfortable to come back in? This is a time for you to reposition yourself. If you don't position yourself, you're going to get positioned. That's just the bottom line of what's going to happen. You got to be more agile. You have to open up the aperture of your mind. You have to believe that you can make it and have faith that you can make it. I heard somebody say one time that the easiest thing in the world for them to do was to make $1 million, but the hardest thing in the world for them to do was to believe that they can make $1 million.
Man, I love it. That's facts right there. Now, you kicking out some bars, man. Open up the aperture of your mind, man. Come on. So, man, it's absolutely been so. This next move, social listening, right? Pivoting, creating another stream of income, right? Those are three major things that you talked about that are absolutely critical.
Exactly.
So, with businesses that want to launch now with a new business.
Yes.
What's some of the core things that a new business should make sure they're doing now? Because, I mean, you see Starbucks just said that they are going to close 400 stores and configure more for mobile pickup, for drive-through and pickup. So what opportunities are there, and what should a new business now be thinking about? Because, you talk about a playbook, they didn't even have a playbook yet. So, but what should they be thinking about to start a new business during this pandemic unrest?
Okay, I would say the same thing before this happened. I would give the same answer. And what I would say, the first thing is know what your target audience is, know what your target consumer, what the demographic, what age group is going to be, which ethnicity is it going to be. Where can you find them? Are they out of home? How can you reach them? What do they like to do? What are their hobbies? And then, you have to have a niche. You have to narrow down and distill what your business is, what the DNA of your company is, what makes you unique, because unique is better than better. So that's the first thing I would tell them is to drill down and have a niche. Don't scatter your shots, aim a rifle right at your target consumer, because all you need is your minimum viable audience.
Man, we appreciate you, man. You're dropping some gems for seasoned businesses and for those who are just starting off. Is anything we didn't touch on you want to make sure that we cover?
I think that you also need to have, like, I call it an experimental money bucket now. So, so if you're in business, you need to try some new things. You have to put aside a little experimental money. So you don't have to put a lot into it, but just try it out and see if it works. So you have to have that. You also just need to become more agile and more nimble as a business, where you can go from here to there and just change your thinking. And also, I would say, if you feel like your business, a lot of businesses feel like they're on life support, but it's not dead, and you can come back stronger. There are defibrillators out there for you. Right.
Man, that's lovely. That's beautiful. So talk a little bit more about one component you just said, the money for the experimental bucket.
Yeah.
I think that's critical, because there are many people who start in business and they stop because they hit a challenge. They stop because the thing they didn't work out, and they didn't get the revenue or the response they thought they were going to get, so they give up. So how do you keep making sure that a person will go into that, put money into that bucket, and then keep using it?
I think you should do your research, find out if you're working with a business to business, find out if that business is in alignment with what you do. If you have a target consumer, make sure you know what that base is for sure, so that you're not wasting money, you're not wasting time, you're not wasting energy, and you're able to really have a hyper target. So when you come up against adversity, you're able to overcome that. And I always tell people, you become what you overcome in life and in business. You got to know that you're gonna have obstacles, you're gonna have different bumps in the road, but that experimental money bucket, as long as you keep that on the side, a little bit of savings to say, let me try something new, because now you have to reforecast. you got to think like, what is the customer going to be thinking about in the next 6 months? Things are changing. The sand is shifting underneath all of us. We're all in the same valley of suffering together. So you got to come up with a plan of action. You got to think ahead and beyond what your clients look. Even you can go back, look at other countries. They're reopening before we are. So if you're in the restaurant business or the salon business, look at what their businesses are doing to reopen and adapt some of that to what you're doing over here in the United States.
Yep, that's it, man. That makes a lot of sense. You look at what's working anywhere in the world and duplicate what works. Man, it's been a pleasure talking to you, brother. I appreciate you. And, you know, I've been a fan of the business and, you know, yeah, you've helped me eat. And I think we gave you some quality work in return. So it was a good exchange. And man, I appreciate, man, what you're doing now to help businesses navigate through this situation. So keep up the great work. And man, and you always welcome on Bean Soup Times, the Black Business Matters show, whatever we're doing.
Great. All right. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for having me on. And I hope I was able to give some constructive encouragement to the businesses out there.
My name is Dolphin Norris. I'm one of the owners of Dan's Soul Food and Cafe, located at 2523 West 79th Street. Best in the Midwest. My partner is my mother. She's the oldest, wisest living person I know. She can look at her food and tell you if it's right or wrong. She wants three things. She wants her food to be good, she wants her place to be clean, and she wants excellent customer service. Well, we've been surviving the pandemic better than ever. We've shut down the sit-down part. However, our carry-out, Uber Eats, and DoorDash has been up about 20-30%. So, but the main thing is that we're servicing people correctly, making sure they got good food at a good price, and they're comfortable with it, and they know that our place is clean.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Adeline Bracey, the Mississippi Queen. I have been in this neighborhood for 46 joyful years, and I've been coming to Dan's Soul Food because his food is so good. I closed my restaurant to start eating here. And I'm here today because of the $6 holler. That this chicken is so succulent. I mean, tender, juicy, and the flavor, oh my goodness. Hey people, if you haven't been here, you must. It is a must if you live in the city of Chicago, especially on the south side. But if your car travel to the suburbs or wherever, come into the city. Enjoy Dan's Soul Food and Bakery. And tell them I told you so. My name is Adeline Bracey, and I approve this message.
Hi, my name is Linda Hardison, and I've been coming to Dan's Soul Food for years on top of years. Listen, this is the place to come when you want some soul. White folks, if y'all don't have no soul, come on down. You're gonna get it here, I promise you. If you don't get it in your wiggle, you'll get it in your plate. Just kidding. But this is good food, and we just want to thank our sister for being here for so long. She's a staple in our community, and we just thank you for that, sister. All right, y'all, have a blessed one. Come on down and eat at Dan's Soul Food.
The Black Business Matters show is produced by Bean Soup Times.